Now we want to establish how we move our shaft in relationship to our body. The golf club shaft in the face of the club, our arms and hands are directed at the golf ball at address position, are set up there. They remain there. We don't want to move away from our body, and we don't want to move away from our body coming to the inside. So our hand position that is here, as we turn our body, it stays directly in front. A good way to get that better understanding than that explanation would be address the golf ball, address the club here with the club in your navel, and as you make a move back and forth, continue to hold it against your navel as you turn. Now that is totally still connected to your body, and that's what we want you to be able to do in the course of the swing. On this little chip shot, there is no pre-cocking or there is no effort to cock. It might cock a little bit, there's not much effort to cock. So the back swing and forward swing, the triangle of our arms and the movement of our shoulders and our legs back to impact, everything is still in front of each other. My hands are just as if they would be as they were at address position as I turned there. We don't want the golf club, and you don't want it, traveling inside away from you on its own. It stays out in front of you. We don't want it to move away from us. It stays right out in front of us. In this view, you can see the club traveling in front. Most people will feel, even on a short shot, that this is outside, when in reality it's inside, but the shaft is still vertical or in front of me. The idea of this little chip shot, not a pitch, not a cocking and pitch shot, but the little chip shot, is to learn how to use our body, how to use our legs moving back into the right leg, and then how to use our legs moving into a taller left leg, and the right knee bent, of course, toward the target. No posture changes, no back rounding. The same back position here, same back position here. The angle of our chest, the angle of our spine remains the same angle. I think we all know, typical people during the course of a long game swing, they'll drop down or they'll move up. That's why the short game first, you can start to feel those up and down moves, and we can eradicate them from your golf swing. So little short shots, mastering your posture, mastering your pelvic triangle in here, and mastering on keeping the swing in front of you, the shaft in our arms always in front of our turn. Still in front of the turn, not in front of the turn, not in front of the turn. Still in front of the turn, still in front of the turn, well balanced with your hips opening a little bit toward the target and holding posture with your right knee toward the target as well, and solidly balanced on that left foot. Now we want to take this a step further. We first talked a little bit about the chip shot where there's no wrist hinging. Now we're going to look at how we hinge our wrists on the backswing and how we hinge them according to the path that we want to be on in the long game. That's why it is so easy here in the short game for you to understand how to do that versus just taking a whack at it into the long swing, the full swing. So as you set up to this golf ball, with the ball position still slightly to the right, now we're going to learn how to hinge our wrists. Most people invariably will hinge the wrist by opening the hand toward the sky up here, and the club gets behind them. But we want to learn that hinging occurs on its vertical plane. So if I'm tilted like this and I turn back, I want to hinge vertically. I don't want to allow the club to come way inside me or hinge the other way where it's backwards. So I want you to feel and start to get it home as you take a little backswing. And remember, this is a little pitch shot. As we take a small backswing, I want you to feel the club hinging up, but the hands still remaining in front of you. Once again, many people will open the back of that left hand or right hand under the club, and then conversely, they'll have to throw it from the top and get back on plane again. So we want to master this little tiny hinge, little cocking, and it doesn't have to be a masterful cock, it doesn't have to be huge, just a small little cocking as we set it up into the backswing and as we move everything together, still using the legs the same way, still holding our posture the same, and allowing, with our nice light grip pressure, the club head, because of its heaviness, to hinge a little bit, making sure that the wrist hinges on its vertical plane and not opening and certainly not closing and hinging underneath. That hinge is real important because as we learn in the full swing and as it gets a little bit bigger, our feet get a little bit wider, and we learn that hinging, we can establish through the short game that correct path moving up over top of our right shoulder right now in the full swing, which we'll get into later. So that's why this short game training, to learn how to hinge on its nice vertical plane rather than allowing the hands to flip the club to the inside or conversely to the outside, and also the club face, how it naturally moves in line with our body. Another understanding of that club face is if I put that in my navel and I turn, the club face somewhat opens, but it really hasn't opened. It's still in the same position as it was at the address position. However, many people tend to close it by habit, and many people tend to open it by habit. Well, that opening and closing has to be readjusted, and compensations have to be made to hit the golf ball anywhere near the target. So let's learn how to hinge, how to keep the club face in front of the body on this little short shot, and it'll go a long way to you achieving correct path on the backswing and certainly better angles on the forward swing.